Plagiarism. Difficult to spell. Pretty easy to do. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Is This Going to Be on the Test? My name is Joe Burns. I am a PhD, the guy at the front of the class, a post-hole digger, and hopefully this podcast can help you through your college career. Now, if you saw the intro, you know obviously that I'm talking about plagiarism in this little 10 minutes I need of your time. And by the way, like, subscribe, do social media things, make me viral. If you looked at it and said, plagiarism, wait a minute, last week didn't you do something on cheating? Yes, sharp-eyed viewers will see that. However, it is my opinion that although plagiarism is cheating, it really needs a piece of its own. It needs a topic that stands alone because it's different than your garden variety creating a crib note or cheating off another person's test. It is my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of other people, that the idea of plagiarism, which is passing off another person's work as your own, this is so much more, in my opinion, so much more damaging, so much more harmful to you as a person that it needs to be talked about. And the reason I say this is because all that crib note stuff, that usually doesn't follow you into your real life after college. But plagiarism does. All you have to do is a simple Google search and it will show again and again and again people who have lost jobs, people who have lost reputations, people who were published. I mean, you even hear it, people who want to say something against Martin Luther King, they will make the statement that Martin Luther King plagiarized part of his dissertation. And I'm sorry to say, but it looks like he did. So let me tell you right up front. There are generally two kinds of plagiarism. There is the oops, I didn't mean to do that type plagiarism, and we as professors know that. Well, you forgot a quote here, or you made a mistake. Okay, it's the blatant stuff. It's the intended plagiarism. It's the taking a friend of yours' assignment from the last time someone took the class and passing it off as your own. It's simply copying and pasting something from Wikipedia without then citing Wikipedia, making me think that you wrote it, yet in your copy-paste, that little bracket with the 3 or 4 or 6 or whatever in it is still in the copy-paste. It's not a smart way to do it. Or it's buying a paper off the internet. It's all these things that specifically is taking someone else's work and passing it off as your own on purpose. That's plagiarism. And I've said in earlier podcasts that the habits that you make in college, the things that you become comfortable doing, follow you into your real life. And plagiarism is one of them there. I've made my case. Now, a couple things. If you say to me you've not plagiarized, it's a little difficult for me to believe because research has shown that upwards of 70% of people in college plagiarize. 40% have actually admitted it. Now, that means the number is much higher, so I'm more inclined to believe the 70%. I also put something up on Facebook with all my other PhD friends, and I said, why do you think your kids plagiarize? And I got back they're lazy, and there's something to that procrastination, waiting till the last second, and the only way to do it is to grab something off of the internet. I also got the idea that they don't believe they will gain a high enough grade without passing off something better than what they can create as their own. So there's varied reasons why people plagiarize. But it is my opinion, most plagiarism occurs because in society today, the generation that's coming up, I don't think a lot of people believe It's plagiarism. I teach a class that teaches people how to make web pages. And it's amazing to me how many people are of the opinion that if it's on the internet, it's up for grabs. It's a freebie. And that's absolutely not true. Copyright follows you onto the internet. There's these Clinton white papers, as in Bill Clinton, that stated just that. Copyright follows you. There's the idea of taking someone else's music and altering it. I'm a DJ, so I'm going to take these 4 songs, I'm going to mash them together. Rap music. I'm going to take all these songs, I'm going to take just a snippet, I'm going to make a whole new music bed. Here's the problem. If you don't give either money, payment for the ability to use it, or credit, and in music you can't just give credit, that's even frowned upon, and you pass it off as your own, you are plagiarizing. And I don't know that the generation coming up, because information has always been right at their fingertips, understands that. So let me explain it to you. Anytime something is not your idea, not your words, you're allowed to use it. It's fair use, but you have to make a point of telling people where you got it, which is another reason that I think plagiarism is so annoying to a lot of professors. It is without a doubt the laziest form of cheating. At least the crib sheets and all that took you a little bit of time. But plagiarism is lazy. You just simply took it. You stole it. And there's no two ways about that. If you think, well, I'm allowed to do this because of fair use, I can take whatever I want because of fair use, real quickly, it would take me a long time to do fair use law, which is part of copyright law. It would take me a long time to do fair use law. But if you're in any way attempting to profit or promote, it's not fair use. So if you're attempting to profit, sell a song, promote, pitch your band by stealing this or taking that, you can't use it. What can you do in it? An academic setting. Now, there's much more to it. Yes, I know copyright people. There's much more to it, but what you're worried about is an academic setting. And by the way, fair use laws, if you're using it correctly, like an academic setting, you don't even need the author's permission. Even if the author says, no, you can't use it, as long as you're following fair use laws, they can use it. I'll tell you one more reason I think a lot of students are plagiarizing, and this one's on us. This one's on the professor and the academic world. There are 3 general methods of citing in an academic setting what you use. That's APA, MLA, and Chicago. I know all 3 of them. I prefer Chicago, but a lot of times your English classes will use MLA and all that. And the problem is that they've made it difficult. Even if you try to follow the rules, you're still gonna get thumped, because if you've ever tried MLA, if you've ever tried APA, you know it's hellaciously specific. You need a parenthesis, then a name, then a comma, then a date, and then an end parenthesis, and then you need the name, and then the first name and the middle name with periods after them, but a comma after this, and then the top of that becomes italicized, and this has to be in quotes, and this has to be pink and blue and green, and over here needs to be a rhinoceros head. It's absurd. They have made it difficult. Even citing something on the internet, they've made difficult, because you need dates and this and that and stuff that's not even on there. And they're worried about what's known as link rot, the idea of a link existing for a while but now is gone. So you, even if you try to, it's difficult. But, and you're not gonna like this, you can't allow yourself to get into the habit of thinking plagiarism is okay. You can't. And the reason I say that is because in the real world, like in class, I'm gonna fail you. It really is in the realm of your life a big whoop-de-doo. You get out in the real world and you pass someone else's as your own, that's the end, probably the end of your job. It may be the end of your career. If you get nailed for copyright infringement, copyright is a federal law, and that means all those job applications you fill out, it says if you've ever been convicted of a federal crime, you're gonna be checking that box for the rest of your life. This is the type of cheating, and this is why I made a podcast all to its own. This plagiarism is the type of cheating that can harm you well into your adult life. Is it difficult to cite? Yes. Is the APA MLA in Chicago people hoping to sell more books so they change it up every so often? Yes. Is it a pain in the butt? Yes. But you have to do it. Because if you turn the tables and somebody takes something of yours and passes it off as their own, how are you going to feel about that? Always turn the tables. Don't plagiarize. Get out of the habit. Don't do it. It's not that I want you to learn AP and all that kind of stuff. What you do in college becomes a habit for the rest of your life, and you can't allow plagiarism to be an acceptable thing in your head. Okay? Fair enough. I'm done. I'm Joe Burns, and that wraps up this episode of Is This Going to Be on the Test? Yep, and you better write it.